Hey guys, Jared here with Chronically PWS. I just wanted to come on, it being Prader Willi Syndrome Awareness Month, Day 8, of course, and just talk about a few things. Namely, I wanted to just talk about exercise, physical activity, and what I do, and um, just some inspirational kind of figures to follow in the Prader Willi syndrome world, as well as just to go through some of the difficult days that I had that weren't illness related specifically, that were just very physical days, not necessarily even related to exercise. And I wanted to talk about those a little bit. But first, I just wanted to remind you that on the 15th of May, I will be doing a live stream from YouTube and possibly on Instagram as well for that entire day that I'm going to be fasting for Fast the 15th. Again, Fast the 15th is a fundraiser that I'm doing through the Foundation for Prader-Willi Syndrome Research. And the idea is that on that day, that you would donate $15 or however much you would like to, in representation of the cost of your meals for that day. And that day you would participate in a intermittent fast. And again, want to talk to your doctor to confirm that you're okay to do that. And if you'd like to participate, and that time you would kind of spend that in solidarity, thinking about in kind of celebrating um, in an empathetic way those that live with Prader-Willi syndrome, like myself, that face the condition hyperphagia. Again, I do suggest personally a water fast is what I'm going to be doing, being that I can drink water during that entire time, just to keep myself healthy and hydrated, and that is very important. So again, it'll be, if you go to fpwr.org/impact/fast the 15th, and that's FASTTHE 15TH, fast the 15th. You can make your donation there. And again, there's some media and a little bit more about the fundraiser on that page as well. So I do encourage you to please join me on that day in participating in this intermittent fast in solidarity with those of us that have Prader-Willi syndrome and face the challenges of hyperphagia. So I wanted to come on today and talk a little bit about exercise. I'm going to try to keep this as concise as I can. I want to talk first about the things that I do for exercise. And when I do exercise, I'm not really steadily exercising. On occasion, I'll go do a workout or what have you, but nothing too strenuous. I would say the most that I do is really walking. And I do that through my visits to the theme parks. As you guys know, if you've been to a theme park, that does involve quite a bit of walking. I think in the days that I go, that I'm usually facing at least about 8 miles of walking on those days. So, and given the weather, that can be more challenging some days than other days, but that is something that I definitely do. And I enjoy doing it. Generally, when I do that, I have to, pace out. I at least I have to go. I can't do that every day, but I may do it every other day or so. But most of the time, here lately, I haven't been as consistent with that. But again, I'm vlogging and I'm talking about the parks and doing things like that. So that's what I kind of do for exercise now. Occasionally, I'll go for a swim with my daughter and family, and again, I may participate in something. I may participate in a walk. Well, what will be a walk for me now if I do any more kind of running events or anything like that. The thing is, I'm kind of limited physically now because of my body. I shouldn't really run too much at this point because of my ankles, specifically my left ankle. I've had surgery on Achilles tendon surgery. So you can see our cat walking in the background there, Paisley. But I've had Achilles tendon surgery, and if I go for a run for any consistent amount of time, I can really feel that the next day in that tendon, and it can really cause me some difficulty walking. So I'm kind of limited there with that. I enjoy getting my pulse rate up. I enjoy, the feeling of the dopamine, the release that you get from exercising. I enjoy that. But my body just kind of limits me in what I can do. I wanted to mention several individuals out there with Instagram pages that you may want to follow for inspiration for if you're having some challenges with Prader-Willi syndrome, or you just want to see what others are doing. Again, with these, I encourage that you just look at them as inspiration. They might not be your direct story, but kind of gives you an example of what others are doing with this condition. First off, if you go to Instagram, there is sora.skates, sora.skates. And again, these pages are all public, so you should be able to follow them fairly easy. And talking about I believe a 9-year-old boy, Sora, who is loves to skateboard, and his progress in skating is pretty amazing. What he can do on a skateboard. So definitely something you want to watch there. Having Prader-Willi syndrome, but Sora also has cerebral palsy. So it's just really amazing. And again, that's sora.skates on Instagram. Another individual that a lot of you may know pretty well is Justice. And her Instagram is Justice Faith 18, and Justice is really big into exercise and working out, and will post videos from time to time of doing things, circuit training, kind of the different exercise routines that she's doing, and working with a personal trainer and things like that. She's really, really a strong individual. Just really impressive. And again, somebody that we kind of all look to for inspiration, or a lot of us look to for inspiration with Prader-Willi syndrome. So I definitely recommend you follow her or have a look at her Instagram page. And then one of my good friends, Vanessa, and her page on Instagram, which is public, childvanessa, definitely, and that's all together, ChildVanessa. She hasn't put a whole lot of her. She does more on Facebook than Instagram. But I just want to tell you that she has a recumbent bike that she exercise bike that she will ride every day, and I think she's done up to 12 miles in a day, something like that. And she does multi-miles a day on that recumbent bike, and just really, really cool and inspirational. And she posts a lot of videos, and talks about her monster, her dealing with hyperphagia and things like that. But she's very inspirational as well, and I definitely recommend that you follow her. And I'm not covering a lot of folks here. I'm trying to cover people that are just really making their information public, and that that we know of here. But again, I know there's thousands of people out there that do inspirational things, that run exercise programs, leading their communities in exercise routines, things like that. There is, if you go to, there was another individual, Chuck Hollywood, which is, I believe, the cousin or uncle of another gentleman with Prader-Willi syndrome. And they do a lot of road videos where they're hiking, walking, running, and that's really inspirational to see as well. So that's just a little bit about, exercise and where I look to for inspiration on exercise. And again, you guys can follow those pages and those individuals if you'd like. And I just wanted to talk about in my past some difficult physical days that weren't necessarily related specifically to exercise, but just were really, really tough days. And this isn't really related to my illness specifically, but just kind of like the physical limits and maybe approaching your physical limits within a day and how challenging that can be. The first thing that I want to talk about most recently, it was actually a couple of years ago. I participated in a duck derby where we were raising money. It was for the Rotary Club of Greenville, South Carolina evening. And they do an annual duck derby at the Reedy River in downtown Greenville. And on that day, they released 10,000 rubber ducks as a lottery system, a duck race. I don't know, or a duck derby. I don't know if any of you've experienced one of those. And they're all electronically tagged. And then the first duck down the river, if it goes past the finish line, and that electronically tagged duck belongs to you through your adoption, raising money for your donation, essentially, then you may win a prize, being a year's worth of groceries or whatever your corresponding number goes to. So that was a really fun and long, challenging day. It was like 3 days. We had a day where we would prep and get all the supplies together. The next day, we were tagging the ducks, basically cleaning them from their previous race because they would come in these big cartons, and then putting new tags on them so we could keep track with them at after the race. And so we did that one day, and then the next day was the race. So we were all in multiple vehicles trying to move these 10,000 ducks down, and then I had guys that were in the river releasing the ducks, and then guys at the end of the river that were catching the ducks. And then we had booths up during the whole race where we would, sell merchandise and, things like that. So it was a really long, tough day. So, you wake up in the morning, you get all that stuff together, get it on the truck, you head out, you set up your booth, you sell your merchandise, they have the event, then you have to take all the ducks back into their carton, and then we had to take them back to a car wash to have them all washed off again. And then it was just a really challenging day. So I wanted to mention that. Then when I was in college, kind of in the middle of my college career, I did a drum corps summer camp, and it was really cool. And it's hard to explain that. And I've never kind of been in an athletic mindset, and been with an organization was more athletic, but they fed you and you slept, and everything you did was kind of controlled in a way. So we had these, we slept on gym floors, which is a challenge in itself. And then you wake up at like 6 a.m. and you'd have like 15 minutes to take a shower, change your clothes, and be at the lineup for starting your physical drills. From the time that you woke up to the time you needed to be at the lineup, 15 minutes. And you're talking about like 60 people, 60, 70 people to do this. So that was really challenging, and there was no hot water. You took a cold shower, and then so you'd start off the day with these physical drills, this exercise and this warm up. Then you would go do blocking drill, which is where you would just march, in a parade formation, and you do that for a couple of hours. During that time, you're practicing physical routines, with your instrument. In terms of, I played 2-valve mellophone at that point, so I was, and that was an older mellophone, so it was heavier. So you'd have to like hold it here, and then they would work on kind of your stamina in holding certain positions for long periods of time. So you could, do pauses and standstills and have your arm with a 14-pound weight here. So different things that they would do that were like physically strenuous. And then when it came to lunch, you would eat this lunch that is very low in sodium, and you would have to drink constantly. They would have you drinking constantly. And then what it did is it kind of programs your body to, when you got a bathroom break, you use the bathroom. There wasn't like, I have to leave now and go to the bathroom. You used the bathroom during your bathroom break, because it was almost systemic that everyone did the same thing during the same time based upon what they ate, the physical activity they did. It was crazy that the way it worked, but that was part of that. Then in college, that whole weekend was tough, by the way. I knew that at the end of the weekend that I couldn't continue on that and do my college career. So I had to step away from it. I wish I would have got to march that year with the Suncoast Sound, but it was just too much for me. Then my sophomore year in college, we did a show for our music for that marching show was James Brown. And that year I didn't march saxophone. I marched euphonium. So that was a pretty tough, because euphonium is kind of like what you would say is a contrabass instrument, almost like it's smaller, but it's still pretty big, and it's an over the shoulder horn. And it was tough to carry. But it could be balanced. It wasn't as hard as that 2-valve mellophone. So I would march this thing, and the thing about that is I was 390 pounds at that time, and I was marching euphonium, and the show was James Brown. The first 2 numbers of that show, Living in the USA, easy. I can't remember what the ballad was, but when we got to the 3rd number, which was a medley, most of the 3rd number was Cold Sweat. And Cold Sweat, I think it goes at like 176 beats per minute. So you have that dun 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 dun. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with my little thing here, but it's a quick bum, 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 ba, da, da, da. It had these really quick sections in it. So here I am, 390 pounds, and we were, doing 10 steps to 5 yards at 176 beats a minute, and I'm carrying this mellophone. So I was sweating at the end of that tune, and we would run that. I remember some rehearsals we would run that like 5 or 6 times, and I would just be dead tired. I would come home or come back to the dorm room, wouldn't even go eat anything. I would throw a burrito on the George Foreman and just lay down and just like fall out, because I was so tired from doing this real strenuous rehearsal and being 390 pounds, carrying all this weight so quickly across the field, but craziness. And then I really have to talk about the days that I worked with my dad growing up, that those were some of the physically difficult days that I'd had. We would do a lot of construction work and things like that. And granted, I couldn't do a whole lot of things, but I would more or less move stuff for him. And he was in salvage. So we had a lot of messes that we would deal with. He would go in and tear lumber out of buildings and things like that, and windows and things. And it was really challenging. if I made it through that day, sometimes me and my dad would get in an argument, and it'd be pretty devastating, and I would leave. I mean, that happened probably, 60% of the time, because it was either I wasn't moving quick enough, or I just couldn't keep up with what was going. But I did have good days working with my dad too. So that was really some of the harder days that I've had. Another page that I wanted to turn you on to on Instagram was The Life That You're Given, which is a movie that a family's put together about their experiences raising a child with Prader-Willi syndrome. I haven't seen the movie yet, but it's had several screenings, and it's really getting out there and really being a great vehicle of awareness for Prader-Willi syndrome. So I definitely recommend that you check that out. Again, it's called The Life You're Given. So yeah, those are just some of the crazy days that I've had with physical activity that weren't necessarily illness related. I've had plenty of those hard days, but just things that I've done that I wanted to talk about. And again, if you need inspiration, definitely follow these individuals that I've discussed with you. Justice, Sora, and Vanessa, very inspirational individuals that have done a lot of putting on social media about their physical accomplishments. So definitely, there's plenty out there that are inspirational. So I encourage you to seek those individuals out, that they're really doing a very grand service to our community and very inspirational to me. So again, that's just a little bit of what I wanted to talk about here on Prader-Willi Syndrome Awareness Month, Day 8. Again, I'm Jared. The name of this channel, of course, is Chronically PWS, and I will be posting this on Instagram. And I hope all of you have a wonderful Day 8. I love you. I'm about to head out to Animal Kingdom, so hopefully there'll be a Park Bopper video posted this afternoon. But I hope you all have a wonderful day.